What's up, guys? If you're new here, my name is Dr. Brian Larish. I am the owner of a cash-based physical therapy clinic, as well as the creator of the PT Growth Academy. Now, when it comes to lunges, I find that there's not really a framework. Every time I perform an assessment, I ask the individual, what do you think about when you do a lunge? And usually the answer is nothing. And that's okay. But in this video, I want to discuss the 3 skills that we really need to master so we can be confident when we're coaching it, but also if you're performing lunges, you can feel confident and get the benefit of the exercise. The first skill to master is where to focus. The cue that we're going to use is back foot. If you can, take a second, stand up, go through a couple of lunges, and then ask yourself, where are you focusing? On the front foot or the back foot? A lot of times people focus on the front foot because that's what they can see. I get it. But the back foot is like the rudder. So if we can start to get more conscious on the back foot, it ultimately guides the front foot. So we can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone here by shifting our attention from the front foot and bringing it to the back. So when the back foot does the right thing, the front foot is always going to do the right thing. Speaking of the right thing, what do we actually want to focus on the back foot? Well, we need it to be very upright and vertical. When it's upright and vertical, it's going to drive us through the right motion, and it's also going to let that front leg do the correct motion. So, first skill to master, back foot. What about it? Nice and upright. The second skill to master is understanding the trajectory. I like to use the coaching cue elevator. Now, if we're thinking about a normal lunge where we're not trying to bias the quads or the glutes, then the ideal trajectory is straight up and down. This is where an elevator comes in. So we want to move like an elevator, but not an escalator. Here's the nice thing. If the back foot remains very vertical, as in our first skill to master, then it allows us to move straight up and down like an elevator. If the back foot does not remain vertical and it's more horizontal, it's going to shift the lunge towards more of an escalator or a horizontal trajectory. What's the problem with this? Usually this leads to knee and back pain for a lot of individuals. Now, do we want the knee pushing forward? Yes. Can it go over the toe? Yes. But when we move very vertically, our center of mass stays in the proper space. When we move like an escalator, our center of mass shifts forward, everything's going forward. The center of mass dysfunction is what usually leads to knee pain or back pain when the knee is over the toe. So it's a little bit of a tangent, but we all know that's a big concept in this movement space. So skill number 2, we're understanding the trajectory of the movement and we're linking it to something that everyone is familiar with. We're moving nice and vertical like an elevator. And skill number 3 is increasing awareness of compensations. The cue I like to use is chicken. Now, think about how a chicken moves. Usually chickens move in this very forwards and backwards way. It's as if there's almost momentum to their walk. Well, the number 1 compensation that happens when someone lunges is they chicken it coming up. This is when on the ascending portion, we lean the trunk forward as a way to push the center of mass forward to then use our spine to generate momentum and come up. What's the problem with this? 2 main things. 1, we're not really working our legs. If we're going to put the time and energy into working out, you might as well work what you're supposed to work. But number 2, we usually have some sort of pain or dysfunction from this. Now, this is really apparent when people are tired. If you're going through your lunges right now and you're not seeing that, you're remaining nice and vertical, great. But put it to the test when you're tired. Put it to the test when you have weights in your hands, a barbell. It's when we're tired that we start to chicken it. So the skill to master is really understanding the most common compensation that there is. And I would even say this is the most overlooked or missed compensation. And we do that by thinking of a chicken. So those are the 3 lunging skills to master so we stop wasting workouts. If you're a personal trainer, a strength coach, or a physical therapist and you're coaching it, use those cues. If you're working out on your own and you're looking to elevate your lunge, use those cues as well. Remember, the cues also help us understand what to focus on. So the first one is back foot. That's the skill of where do we actually focus? What is our focal point as we're going through it? And that way I can set myself up for success. Cue number 2 is the elevator. This helps us understand the skill of the trajectory of movement. So we have the visual of this vertical motion instead of horizontal. And finally, our third cue was chicken. This helps us learn the skill of the biggest compensation so we don't have pain and so we can actually start to get stronger. So I hope you found this video valuable and use these 3 skills and cues to totally elevate your lunge. Now, if you are a physical therapist or personal trainer and you're looking to elevate the way that you coach so that way your patients and clients can get better results, I encourage you to check out the Clinical Coaching Specialist certification. This is an online self-paced course that will teach you the exact framework to understand the why, so that way when we do the how, the coaching, we can do it in a more intentional way. I'll leave that in the link below. Feel free to leave any questions about the certification or join directly below.